Support for this video is brought to you by Manscaped. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code LJTV at manscaped.com.
Yes, people, welcome back to Lee Judges TV. Do you know what? Every time I see that advert, I try to stop laughing, but I just can't do it. If you do want to support, get yourself over to Manscaped. Use the code LJTV for 20% off. Welcome back to Lee Judges TV. We are without Lee Judges because he's on his way here. He's been at Cheltenham trying to lose or win money, whatever way you look at it. But I am, of course, with Mr. Kevin Campbell. Casey, how you doing, my bro?
Hi, Dan. You know, the squaddies will be in the chat, hopefully. And I'm good, mate. I'm on location.
Yeah, man, you're more local than you usually are, man. But it's a pleasure to have you with us tonight, mate. And of course, we are with the best Mr. Articulate Liverpool fan that I know. It's Grizz. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. First time I've seen that Lee Judges advert as well, man. And I was going to rip him, but he's not here. And that is, I tell you what, that's a class piece of acting he put on there, man. I like that.
Do you know what? I think EastEnders said, "Don't phone us, we'll phone you." Do you know what I mean? That's all I. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Mate, thank you for coming on, though, bro. Much appreciated. Hello to everybody in the chat. Great to see you all with us. Great to see you interacting in the chat already. This is a big one tomorrow night, and it really is a big one. And do you know what? It's a big one, not just for us for top four, but it's a massive one for Liverpool's title race. Yesterday's result has probably been the worst result for Arsenal, but the best result for Liverpool. Or do we not look at it like that? Do we look at it as, do you know what? It's a massive game, whatever happens around us. Don't concentrate on what's going on around you, they say. Concentrate on your own team. Mr. Kevin Campbell, let's start with you, KC. This is a big one. It's one of the. I love talking to you about Arsenal, Liverpool, KC, because obviously you're a massive gooner, and obviously your Everton hat's on as well. So you've never been massively keen to Liverpool FC. However, they are a fantastic side. This is going to be a difficult game. But of our form of late, KC, is it fair to say that perhaps we're a little bit more confident going into this fixture tomorrow night? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think Liverpool, they deserve the respect. There's a lot of respect. I've got a lot of respect for the football club. Let's be fair and what they've achieved. Success breeds respect, and you've got to respect that. I think the way Arsenal have gone about their business this season, I think every time we've met Liverpool, that's been like that's been a gauge for where we are. When we first met them earlier on in the season, we're on a run and they slapped us up. They give us a 4 at Anfield, put us back in our place. We dusted ourselves down. We got moving. Obviously met them in the Carabao Cup. 0-0 at Anfield with 10 men. Diego Jota proved to be the real difference. I think they really bossed it at the Emirates and beat us 2-0. And now, here we are with wins under our belt. We know Liverpool are going great. They're going for the title. We're going for top 4. It's going to be a brilliant game. I think we don't have to play with any fear. We've got to do the right things. We've got to do the basics well. If you don't do the basics against this Liverpool team, they will hurt you, that's for sure. But when we get our opportunities, we've got to take them. This is, the 4th time we've played them this season. So we should have no inhibitions about who we're playing against. And hopefully, we could keep playing the type of football that we've been playing and give them a real game.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And like, I'll stick with you just before I come to Grizz, Kev, because I look at the way that we played against Leicester, and I'm starting, and you know I've had my question marks, I'm starting to see a style of play. Now, this style of play is very attractive to watch. So only a few weeks ago, I was saying, look, I'm worried about the lack of goals. We're going to have to get goals by committee. We're seeing it now, goals by committee. If he gets goals by committee, he's going to have to change his style of play and change potentially the formation. He's changed the style of play. He's changed the formation. And I was on Grizz's show earlier, and we were talking about comparisons of our style, maybe being a little bit of a hybrid version between Manchester City and Liverpool, albeit not with the same quality of play and with the same strength in depth. But we're starting to see now, Kev, that diamond with the tip of Lacazette. We're starting to see Partey holding. Martin Odegaard has come into the game and been instrumental in midfield. And Granit Xhaka, do you know what? Me and you are not the biggest fans of Granit, but do you know what? He has done a job of that left 8. So credit has to go to Mikel Arteta here, doesn't it? To actually look at the players that he's brought in the summer, look to how they fit into a system, and he's basically implemented what I think is a really attractive style of football at the moment, mate.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of credit has to go to the manager, a lot of credit has to go to the players, because some of the players weren't fancied when they first got to the club. But you put it right on the training ground. That's what I will say. I think there's comparisons to Liverpool in a sense. When Jurgen Klopp first went to Liverpool, they weren't great, but he slowly got them right on the training pitch. And now look at them. They're a juggernaut. They're hard to stop. Whichever way, whether home or away, they're hard to stop. I think it's taken us a bit more time because we've had a lot more problems in our club. The culture wasn't right. There were certain players that weren't right. The players now are believing in themselves. There's no better game to play and win than against Liverpool. That's the yardstick. That's the gauge. Manchester City and Liverpool. You know, if you finish above them two teams, you probably win it. But if you want to compete, you've got to beat them. And this is our last chance this season to try and beat one of the big boys in Liverpool. So, you know, listen, the gloves are off, aren't they? They've got to be off.
Yeah, 100% they have to be. Grizz, let's come to you, or should I say Grizz Teta? A lot of people in the chat know your love for Mikel Arteta. Bro, to be fair, you've been saying to me the most season, Dan, it's going not as bad as you're saying. I'm a fan of what I'm seeing with Mikel Arteta. I like what Jurgen Klopp did. There's similarities in terms of removing the culture. You've come and tried to compare styles of play. And to be fair to you, mate, of the last 5 or 6 games, it's looking like some of the stuff is coming to fruition from what you've been saying. So how impressed have you been with us this season, bro?
Very impressive. Honestly, I mean that. And I'm not saying it because I'm on a Arsenal-based channel and I've got a legend in front of me and Kevin and you are, you know, a mad Arsenal fan. I'm not saying it because of that. I mean it, and you know this. I mean it. Look, I totally get the frustration from Arsenal fan base because it's been so long. Because you know the levels that you attained not so long ago. It's not that long ago. I mean, it seems like age and age ago, but you was there. You was the pinnacle of football in the English in the Premier League along with Man United. Only 18 years ago was it? Something like that. And the drop is massive and huge. I get the frustration, but we've been there. That's why I used to see it from the angle of we've been there, guys. I know I'm talking about because from experience. I couldn't say it if I hadn't experienced it. Do you get what I mean? So when you experience the lows like Liverpool had, and then we were battling for 8th and 6th at one stage, like you guys were last season, and then we've seen the slow and steady rise. I see a lot of similarities, especially in the way that Klopp changed the mentality and the culture amongst the club. And that's the biggest thing I see in Arsenal. We've just done a show on my channel and we spoke about the mentality and attitude of this young team. One of the first things Jurgen Klopp told the crowd to be, obviously Jurgen Klopp has got a different aura to Mark Arteta, but in terms of blocking out the noise, like Jurgen Klopp was famous for saying like he couldn't believe the amount of people that were leaving Anfield with 5 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure you guys speak about it. You hate it when fans leave before the end of the game. But now you guys were talking about the fan base sees the progress. Everyone's singing from near enough. You're never going to get Arsenal singing from the same hymn sheet. But near enough singing from the same hymn sheet now because you see the progression. Again, Jurgen Klopp kicked out the likes of Balotelli, Sacco, you know, all these, changed the attitude, changed the mentality of the group. I think Arteta's doing a great job, guys. I mean that. And, you know, hopefully long may it continue after tomorrow.
And Grizz, do you think that being one of the youngest sides in world football at the moment, that Arsenal is certainly in the Premier League with one of the youngest, or if not the youngest, do you feel like we are playing at the moment with no fear. Do you look at this going into this game thinking these kids, the Martinellis, the Sakas, the Smith Rowes, the Erdegaards, who I think has been amazing of late, they're not going to fear Liverpool. They're just going to go at it? Or do you think that we are going to be sensible and kind of sit back and allow to try and take a point if we can? Like, what are you expecting from us tomorrow?
I think you're going to play the way he's been coaching them for the last year and a half or 2 years, however long it's been. And that's front foot, be aggressive, be positive in everything you do. And that takes balls for a young manager who's getting pelters from media and sections of the fan base. And I think it's emanated into the way the youngsters play now. Like, and we spoke about it. Look at the way you guys handled Man City. Yeah, all right, you lost 2-1 with a last second goal from Rodri and whatever. That could have fallen anywhere. But with 10 men, and even with that when you had 11, no one has rattled Man City like you lot did. Honestly, like they were like, they didn't know what you was pressing them. You had pressing triggers. You knew exactly what passing lanes to cut off. It's all about the energy of your youngsters. And now you've got a couple of elders that are actually playing more to form, like the likes of Partey and Xhaka. And that's benefit. And of course, Lacazette, who's been a revelation in this, can I call it the Bobby Firmino role? Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't look like scoring, but he's making others look like scoring, if you know what I mean. Yeah, everyone else is alive around Bobby. Everyone's alive around Laka. So, yeah, man, I think you guys are going to play front foot football, which kind of suits us as well, that you guys are going to play like that, but it makes for a great game, in my opinion.
Kev, let's come to you on the way things are going in our midfield at the moment, because for me, this system has completely allowed Martin Odegaard and Thomas Partey to come into the football game. And you know me and you not long ago, Kev, so if everybody was playing at their best, then Thomas Partey would be our best player. I'm starting to see the Thomas Partey that I thought we were going to buy in the summer last year, because it took him a little bit of time. It weren't really working with different partners. He had Ceballos, El Neni, Xhaka, Lokonga. Now we're seeing him as an anchor, which, let's be honest, I was guilty of saying that I thought Thomas Partey was a box-to-box midfielder. I think it's clear to see that everything that's good about Thomas Partey is in that anchor role. And it's also allowed Martin Odegaard to get back into the game. So I know the manager deserves a lot of credit for it, but actually the players have got to take the ball by the horn, so to speak, and make it work also. And I think them two have been amazing for us going forward now, Kev. I really do.
Yeah, I think Thomas Partey could do both, if I'm honest with you. I've seen him play that pivot, that holding role, and I've seen him be that box-to-box midfielder. He can do it. The fact of the matter is, the key is the partner he has in midfield. The partner he has, when they play beside each other, I think he's reluctant to go forward because Granit Xhaka just doesn't have the legs.
Yeah.
Now, Granit Xhaka plays a little bit further forward. He's more central. So he's the one who has to really sit. And you're seeing him, maybe they call him the general. You're seeing him take control of the game, open up them passing lanes to Martin Odegaard in between the lines, even hitting Xhaka between the lines as well. Xhaka's playing the ball forward. He's had me open mouth, Dan. I'll be honest with you. The ball goes into Xhaka and he plays the ball forward. I've been like so surprised. Been like, normally he's a crab and he plays sideways, but he's been playing forward. So I think it's worked. Maybe the manager has just tweaked it a little bit, obviously, to try and get them to be more offensive. I honestly think against Liverpool play a style of football that if you're going to go toe-to-toe with them, you're going to need speed. You're going to need speed in the width. So Martinelli and Saka are going to be the keys, because Trent Arnold and Robertson, they bomb on. They join in all the time. So when the ball breaks down, you've got to be able to get Saka. And I remember the first game we played, we were getting Saka through a little bit of the first half, but we just weren't clever enough to exploit it. Van Dijk just shut down whatever happened on that side. So I think we got to be smart how we play, but Xhaka, Thomas Partey are key for us. Those two experienced players, making sure we've got a platform to build in a game and protect the two centre halves, is very, very important for us, Dan.
Massively. And before I move back to Grizz, I've got to bring up this in the comment because I brought this up on Grizz's show earlier, and it was a stat that I heard today, right? So, KC, Nicholas Jover has come in, set piece coach from Manchester City. Arteta says, can we talk about the 121 corners to which we haven't conceded a goal this season? You see it on set pieces, defending and attacking, KC. Nicholas Jover's next to Mikel Arteta barking orders, making sure everyone's set up completely correctly. We saw the Thomas Partey goal on Sunday, and also people forget this, but the penalty came from a set piece also as well that we got, right? So we've had 121 corners to which we haven't conceded a goal. Now, I brought this up with Grizz earlier, and I said to him, Van Dijk's going to score a header now tomorrow night. Now, I've said this from a set piece. You know it's going to happen. Now, I've brought this up, right? You know what I mean? But we have to talk about it because this was a stat that really surprised me, Casey. And this is something we've probably been vulnerable of the last couple of seasons. So this deserves huge credit, doesn't it?
It does, Dan. And let me tell you something about set pieces. Set pieces are sometimes ignored. You think, oh, it's just a corner. It is a real great opportunity to put the opposition, one, under pressure, and two, it's a great way to score a goal to get your nose in front, as we saw on Sunday. Okay? The fact of the matter is, if you're going to be a team who doesn't concede goals from set pieces or corners, you have to have discipline and you have to have a mental strength and toughness to go and attack the ball and keep it out of your net. And those two things, Dan, weren't something that you kind of put to Arsenal in previous seasons. They weren't. We're maybe a little soft touch. And, you know, I think I made a remark earlier on in the season where I think it was Gundogan scored at Manchester City. He's one of the smallest players on the pitch and he's out jumping Rob Holding on the back post. You know,
and Sterling, do you remember? Sterling did the same.
Last season, it's madness. So that was something that we had to address. And obviously, Jover's addressed it, and it's something that we take pride in. Can you concede, as the odds go, you will concede at some stage because someone will switch off, Dan. But 121 corners and no goals is very impressive.
No, it really is. And you know it's better than me, Casey. Set pieces and practice to me ain't fun, is it? Let's be honest. When you're training, it ain't fun. And I did it at Sunday League, mate, not your level. It can't be fun, can it? Do you know what I mean?
George Graham, mate, he was on it. You could spend 2 hours on him. But you know what, Dan? He used to say to you, guys, this could be the difference whether we win or lose. So let's get it down. Let's get it right. And we did. Once you start saying that this could really help your success, then you make it a part of the group.
But it's true though, because look, you're talking, Kev. How many years are we talking ago? Like, with all due respect, like how many? Like that was about what?
George Graham. George Graham's career at Arsenal finished in '94.
Right. So look at this, but and we're sitting here, big 2022, right? And we're talking about how important set pieces are. And we can speak from experience again because we were awful. We were shambolic, like under the Brendan Rodgers eras. Like we were known, even Roy Evans, known to be so weak at set pieces, even though we had the likes of Mark Wright, Neil Ruddock, these guys were John Scales, like proper good, like tall players known to be good in the air, but we were so suspect at set pieces because of obviously we didn't take them seriously enough or practice them in coaching. Now it's so good that you guys have told me about, Dan, you told me about my show about this set piece coach you've got. We've now got, not only have we got set piece coaches, we've got a throw-in coach. We've got a mentality coach, and everyone laughs at these kind of things. We've got 3 goalkeeping coaches. The details, the minute details count for so much. And now we are suddenly last season was an anomaly. We know what happened with Liverpool and defenders in last season. But the last 2 seasons, go and check out our defensive records, man. They're insane, especially from set pieces, not only from a defensive point of view, but an attacking point of view as well, because obviously Kev knows way more than me. How many times, guys, did we see that George Graham team take the lead through a set piece? maybe not playing well, but suddenly bang, set piece, 1-0. And we knew what happened when it's 1-0 to the Arsenal. So that was game over. And
Grizz,
this is exactly what for us. With Liverpool, how many times did we go 1-0 down in 18-19? Sorry, 1-0 up 18-19 for a set piece, Virgil or Matip, game over. It's so important in the modern game.
Yeah, I mean, you could just remember it. Brian Marwood or Rocky or someone would clip a corner in. Steve Bold would flick it on, and Tony Adams or someone would come in at the back stick. You know, you could write the script. You can't stop it. If it's executed properly, it's so difficult to stop. So set pieces play a big part. And the fact of the matter is, Dan, we now have the mentality. We know Liverpool's got the mentality, but we now are having that mentality to not concede at set pieces.
And it's about discipline, guys, because that's one thing that the non-Arsenal fans criticize you guys about. Discipline. Yeah. And you need discipline to be good at set pieces, if you know what I mean. Like people thinking, what do you mean by that? Well, you need to be disciplined to stay with your man or in your zone, know your role. Every set piece, know your role, despite whoever the personnel is. And I think that's another thing that you've got to praise Arteta for drilling that into these players. Because if you look through your team, you're not the tallest team.
True.
Like I'm thinking about it, right? Is Xhaka 6 foot, Partey 6 foot,
Gabriel,
your two centre backs, and I'd say that's it. Because Tommy Yasu maybe if he's playing, but that's it, right? And
you're right.
And that record's insane. Like I didn't know about that record until you told me. Obviously, we're gonna smash it tomorrow, that record. But it's a mad record, man, and that's big up to the coaching.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I saw the stat yesterday, and I thought, no way. That many corners, wow. And then you start looking back, like you think, don't you, Kev? You think, I can't remember actually. Yeah, I think it's looking right. Right. And then, of course, you like to start to investigate why that might be. And then you see that you've brought this coach in. We had the guy from Brentford. We've now got the guy from Man City. And it's definitely improved things. And it's interesting what you say there, Grizz, about the amount of coaches that people are now using and how specific it is. So, yeah, I thought that was a really interesting one. Let's talk a little bit about Liverpool, Grizz. We'll come to you, man, because I said at the start of this season, I think Liverpool Football Club are going to win the league this season. And everybody said no chance. They laughed, no chance. Manchester City and Chelsea miles ahead of them. Look at Chelsea, European champions. They've bought Lukaku. It's going to be easy for them. Manchester City haven't got a striker, but they're still better than Liverpool. I said, okay, that's fine. I don't care who wins the league. If it isn't Arsenal, I couldn't give a damn. If I'm honest, as long as it ain't Spurs, I don't care who wins the league, right? So I just thought, with all of your players back, I think you've got the best 11 in the league. I stand by that. And I always said that your strength in depth is definitely there. People say, no, it's not. I looked at the Diaz signing, thought it was exceptional. I looked at the Jota signing, thought it was what you needed because there's no more Rodriguez and Minaminos. Now you've got Diaz's. Now you've still got Bobby Firmino's that people forget about. And of course, you've got Jota, who I think has been outstanding, although has been injured. So why do you think that the neutral, not Liverpool fans, thought that was a madness statement, Grizz, that Liverpool could win the league? Surely it was not a madness statement.
Reactionary fans, Dan. Short-term memories, Dan. That's all it is. Last season, to a man, everyone thought it was excuses in terms of the injuries. Yet when it happens to your own team and you lose 5-6 of your spine, I'm not talking just squad players here and there. We lost all our centre halves. We lost at one stage Fabinho and Henderson in midfield. What are you supposed to do? Like we had so many injuries, and we're not talking a couple of weeks out here and there. And unfortunately, the way the social media works and the power and the influence of social media, it plays on people's minds. And then you add to that transfers and signings and money. So when you add to that, Chelsea won the Champions League and they add Lukaku for 100 million. Man City go out and spend 100 million on Grealish. You know, you can understand some people doubt in Liverpool, but the real ones like you know, wink, nudge, nudge. The real ones like you, Dan, and me, we knew when the big dogs come back, as I always refer to them, we're going to be a serious problem. Because if you take out last season, And it's easy to take out these seasons. People say, "Oh, it's easy to take out." It's not easy to take out last season. It is. You forget last season because of one-off. You look at the previous 2-3 seasons and the curve of Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. It's only been one way, Dan. It's only been one way. It's upward, upward, upward. We've been improving the squad, improving the mentality, improving our depth. There's no way anyone can say Man City aren't up there with us. They're one of the greatest teams the Premier League's ever seen, without a shadow of a doubt, under one of the greatest coaches. Forget how much they've spent. To win it and the way he plays is a huge achievement. He's an iconic coach. But if it wasn't for Liverpool, this would be a Farmers League, people. They would have smashed it 5-6 seasons in a row. We're the only ones challenging them. With limited resources, the way he's done it, people call it the right way or whatever. I'm not getting into that. But we're a serious outfit, man. And finally, maybe we're getting some respect because you're right. Do you remember there was an article or something? Do you remember when they asked 20 pundits and ex-players and whatever where Liverpool going to finish? Apparently only 1 or 2 of them had us even in the top 2. So the disrespect was mad. But it is what it is, man. Who's laughing now, as you said earlier? Who's laughing now?
Yeah, it is true, man. KC, thoughts on that? Why did you think people wrote them off?
I think people kind of weren't sure because Van Dijk had been out a long time. And, was he going to be the same player this season? Grizz is right. The trajectory that Liverpool were on, for 2 seasons, they were the most consistent team in the world. They ran Man City close and then they won the league. So something had to give. And then they had no injuries for virtually them 2 seasons. So something had to give. So they started picking up a few niggles. Van Dijk got injured. And then obviously they lost. There was players playing who were centre back. Henderson played in the centre back. A couple of others played centre back who worked to be in midfield. So it was difficult for them. Just because people weren't sure about Van Dijk, it's easy to then say, we're not sure. One thing I knew is when Liverpool are at full strength, they're as strong as any team in this league, as strong as anybody. And sometimes it just comes down to the bounce of a ball. That's what it comes down to. And I truly believe it's going to come down to that game at the Etihad between these two. Man City,
I think
Liverpool
you're right.
At the Etihad is going to be all the chips in the middle of the table, I believe. And, then it's going to be a race to the end. But listen, this team are serious, a serious football club. We know the history of Liverpool. Listen, Liverpool have always had plenty of respect. And I know what you're saying, Grizz, about some people haven't put respect on Liverpool's name when you injury players, but trust me, everybody's got a lot of respect for Liverpool. And in fact, I don't think people like a lot of Liverpool fans because Liverpool fans gloat a bit. Do you know what I mean? It rubs people up the wrong way. But you know what? If you've got a team like that, Dan, what were we like with the Invincibles? We were gloating. You have to gloat. This is your team. So I get it. But listen, this Liverpool outfit are very, very serious. And if we don't come to play and defend properly, we don't do the basics, Dan, they're going to expose us.
Yeah, 100% they are. And Grizz, I want to ask you this. Because of last night's result, has this changed anything for you going into this game? Because a lot of people are saying, now Liverpool are going to come roaring at us. Were they not anyway then? Because I expected Liverpool to come out as whatever. So does this change anything, Manchester City and Palace result last night?
For me, no. For the players and coach, definitely no. Like 100% no. We know Jurgen Klopp only knows one way. Like he's the most coolest and the most intense at the same time, if you know what I mean. So he gives this persona of being cool and laughing, jokey, but he's an intense coach. And it shows the way we play, the intensity and the way we press. So yeah, look, it doesn't change much because we still need to go to the Etihad if it came down to the Etihad and win the game. The only reason it would change it would if we could have got away with a draw, in my opinion. But Palace had a couple of chances where they could have nicked it, and that would have completely changed it, in my opinion, because it would have meant going to City and not needing a win. So from that aspect, it doesn't change much. And in the short term, tomorrow, it absolutely doesn't change anything. We still need to go out and perform, because we know Arsenal are, along with us, the form team in the Premier League. The facts speak for themselves. 5 wins in a row in the Premier League is hard. It's fucking hard, man. Ask other clubs. Like, the standard is good. Anyone can beat anyone. And to put 5 wins in a row like you have, I think, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. It's an achievement, man. And tomorrow you're going to lock horns against the other team who's done the same. We've got 8 wins in a row. So something's got to give. Do you know what I mean? So I just hope it's not us, man. I hope it's you, man.
Dan, let me just tell Grizz this. You say it hasn't changed. It's changed everything. That result last night. When you're a player in the dressing room, because you don't expect Man City to slip up. Let's be honest. You're expecting them to go to Crystal Palace. You're hoping, but you don't expect them to slip up. The fact of the matter is, they slip up, and that door opens more now. So, does it change your preparation? No. Does it change who you are as a team? No. But I tell you what, it does change. It changes the mentality when you look at each dressing room. You know we're a step closer, guys. We've got to take care of business. We are a step closer, because if we get this result and we keep winning until we get to the big game against Manchester City at the Etihad, it's all there for us. We win that and we're top. So it changes everything. It's just more opportunity for Liverpool now. So I know a lot of Arsenal fans are like, oh no, this is difficult for us to deal with. But hey, you're right. We've got 5 wins. You've got 8 wins. Something's got to give. We're at home, Dan. We've got to perform just like they've got to perform. We need the points. Who wants it more?
Yeah, it is really going to be about that. And I must admit, I looked at the result and I thought, I'm not so sure I liked that result last night. I think that's going to make Liverpool even hungrier. But we'll soon see, won't we, tomorrow night. Kev, let's stick with you just quickly. So I want to talk a little bit about this Liverpool side and how we can actually take something from them, because they're a great outfit. Where do you see a weakness in Liverpool's side moving forward? Because I honestly believe that there's not many, when you look at that side, that you can think, oh, we can get them down here. They can definitely be got out down this side. But I do feel there has been some situations this season where Liverpool have looked a little bit vulnerable in parts of the season. So what's your take on Liverpool and how we get at them?
Yeah, look, the key to playing Liverpool is when you get the opportunity to break the press and hit your runners in wide areas, you've got to take it. And as soon as you spring a Martinelli or a Saka, that's when you have to hurt them. But that's why they've got Van Dijk and Matip there, because normally them two patrol that back on their own, because Alexander, Trent Arnold and all that, and Robertson are higher up the pitch to press you in. So when you do break it and then you get somebody out, that person has to be able to travel and take Van Dijk on, take Matip on. They need to be able to get them in their box. We've done it a couple of times, couldn't utilize the possession. That's the way you beat Liverpool. Because you know what? Liverpool want you to play the extra pass in midfield. They don't want you to stretch the pitch. They want you to play the extra pass in midfield. And then what happens? The press comes, they win it back, and they're in at your back 4. They do time and time again. And when you get chances, you got to take them. Because if you don't, they will just grind you down. They're that good. So that's where I see, that's where Thomas Partey is going to be instrumental. That's where Martin Odegaard, he's going to have to play his role tomorrow of releasing Martinelli. He's going to have his running shoes on. And then we may need to see Pepe come on as well at some stage.
Yeah, it could be interesting from the bench. We've got Smith Rowe, I imagine, and Pepe from the bench. So that's going to be really interesting. Grizz, I want to flip it round and ask you these 2 questions, because My questions to you are: where do you see weaknesses in your own side? So how can you see Arsenal getting or being dangerous? And who are the danger men for Arsenal, do you think?
So look, it's been documented, isn't it? All over media.
Don't
This
say it,
offside
Grizz.
line.
Don't say it.
In fact, it has though, innit? And like, it's funny, innit? Because again, we're gonna go back to the George Graham, right? The George Graham Arsenal team, who were the kings of the offside, right? You could, like, every game they'd catch the opposition out like 10 times a game, like, and obviously that was without VAR, so we don't know how many of them were really offside or not now, but we can't go back in time. But I genuinely think it's our strength. And it's absolutely our strength, and it's the reason why we are the force we are, and the reason we've got the success, and especially the way we play, because we play a high line, because we compress the play. We don't let other teams out. We cage them in. As Kev says, we want that extra pass so we can press you. But if you play it smart, and if you're good enough, and if you're patient and cool enough in the circumstances, you can break that offside trap. Now, League Cup final is probably the best example of a team that had the patience and the quality to break that offside trap a couple of times. It wasn't many times. Chelsea, it looks good on TV, like sort of, sorry, to the naked eye, that, oh my God, they're through again, but you're offside, son. VAR has proved you're offside. So there wasn't, you didn't break the offside trap, right? Let's get it real. But that's the way to do it with us. And that's why I said, I don't know if you're going to play a little bit different tomorrow, because as I said to you on my show as well, Odegaard and Xhaka don't really make third man runs, second man runs. They're more ball playing eights, both of them. Partey is being asked to play as more of a disciplined role, although Partey could play that role. Like, he can play at Atletico, he was more box to box. We know Martinelli loves getting in behind. We know Saka has the dribbling ability to get round whoever he's facing up. I think that's where your strength, that's where you're going to try to target us, because we're not going to hold back our fullbacks. Doesn't matter we're home or doesn't matter we're away. I just think in midfield, I'd be more fearful if Smith Rowe was playing. That's just me. You guys know better. You guys know your team more. I'm no way trying to tell you how how you guys should play. But Smith Rowe makes those runs from a deeper position. I think Martinelli and his positions higher up, so it's easier to defend for us. When you make them from a deeper position, I think that's where you would hurt us. I would be more fearful. That's just me. But obviously, you guys know your team better. And that's it. The danger, obviously, danger is from the flanks, man. Martinelli and Odegaard's vision, second to none.
Yeah, has been so impressive. Kev, let's come to the team news. Are we going to see exactly the same team that we saw against Leicester, or are you making any changes, do you think, tomorrow night?
I think we're going to go with the same team, Dan. I think the way the team's been playing, especially the way the team adjusted second half against Leicester. Because if you look at just at the end of the first half, Leicester were coming on a bit strong. Ramsdale had to make that fantastic save, and Ben White had to make that tackle on Maddison. We adjusted at half-time and we came out, and they didn't even have a sniff in the second half. We went on to get the penalty. We were on top of them at 2-0. It was easy. It was a game over. And you can't really say, you watch Arsenal play and it's an easy win. That was an easy win against a decent side. But here we're coming up against the real big boys, the real team who can hurt you from minute 1 to 91st, 94th minute. We know what difficulty Liverpool and danger Liverpool possess. But I still think this team have earned a right, this 11 have earned a right to play against them and compete. We know Smith Rowe's just coming back from a bout of COVID. He was on the bench, he got on the pitch. Pepe, we're going to need all these guys. Dan, if I'm honest with you, we're going to need them all if we're to get anything. But I think we're going to keep that same 11. Might make a tweak here and there, I think. Might make a tweak here and there, just for a bit of move. As Grizz said, Martinelli loves to hunt space. He may not just stay on the left-hand side. He may not. He may move a little bit more, come inside and run from a little deeper, because when you're deeper, it's very difficult to pick it up. So there might be a tweak or two, Dan, but I think we will keep the same 11.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think we're going to see any major changes, if I'm honest with you. The only thing I've heard today is that Gabriel didn't train because his wife's gone into labour. So I'm hoping that we have a Pepe situation and that he just says, do you know what? I'm going to be with my family, but I am going to be there. We need Gabriel. Like, without Gabriel, I'm sorry, but I think he's...
Come on, darling, push it out tonight.
Yeah, you know it, man. He's got to play. I mean, he's got to play, man. He's so important to the way that we play. In my opinion, he's our best centre half. And if he's out, I mean, Grizz is nodding his head. He's liking the fact that Gabriel might be out. Am I right or not, Grizz?
Huge if true. Obviously we don't know the situation, and if she's gone into labour, then the chances are, you know what I mean, bless her, she'll have it popped by kickoff tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them ones. But if you're missing Gabriel, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially if you've got no Tomiyasu as well. Cedric and Holding probably stepping in.
Not good.
I'm assuming.
Not good. Yeah, not good.
Then it's a lot of work because Gabriel is class. I rate the guy, man. He's taken, again, coming to the Premier League raw. Didn't know much about him, but he looks like a leader now, the leader that you guys have craved. So yeah, man, huge blow if he doesn't make it.
Yeah, 100%. He's my favourite centre half and one of my favourite players of late. If I'm honest with you, I really like this guy a lot. Grizz, let's talk about some of the players that these defenders might be coming up against, because I do not know what your front line is going to be. I imagine I probably predict your team, but the midfield, I could say one or two. So what do you think the team news will be for Liverpool, bro?
Yeah, it's pretty much we know the back four, the goalkeeper. Some fans may opt for Konate. They would have wished because of the pace and trickery of Martinelli and Odegaard and Saka, but I think he's going to go with a tried and tested and experienced Matip. Midfield, Fabinho, as I said to my show, Fabinho is the first name that you put in the midfield and then you pick the other two. Simple, standard. That's what you do. You know, you pick Fabinho. I compared him to Kev. I compared him to Gilberto Silva for you guys back in the day. Underrated. People don't speak enough about Gilberto Silva. People don't speak enough about Fabinho. You know, so that's the way I look at Fabinho, man. And then I guess you got to pick your captain, your skipper, Henderson, and then it could be Thiago or Naby Keita. Naby Keita ain't put a foot wrong in the last 4 or 5 games, but Thiago was brought in for pressure, big games like this. And I think Thiago comes in. And the front three, my God. The front three is mad, Dan. I don't know. Like Salah, if he's fit.
Salah fit? Yeah, is Salah fit? That's my question.
He trained today, but Jurgen Klopp was like, we don't know how he's going to fill up training.
He's playing then. Yeah.
He's a machine. He's a machine, man. He's a machine, man. Looking at his six-pack reminds me of when I was 18. You know what I mean? It's mad. He's absolutely mad. The way he carries himself and how fit he is and everything about him. He trains like a demon as well. He hated missing training yesterday. You know what I mean? So he's back today. If Salah's fit, we know he starts. And then Dan, I don't know, man. Bobby loves playing against you lot. He hasn't played last couple of games. Maybe he brings back Bobby. Sadio's been underrated in that number 9. He's learning on the job. Jota loves playing Arsenal. And then you got the man of the moment, Luis Diaz, who's been, I described him as the booster that we needed. You know, everyone's asking, you know, everyone's had a booster.
So good.
Yeah, man, he's taken our attack to another level. People talk about our attack, but he's taken the options and the variety and the potency to another level. So who'd want to be Jurgen Klopp? Picking out them, but if you're putting me on the spot, what I would go for, and obviously I have no qualifications in coaching and I'm not a coach at any level, what I would do personally would be Diaz, Jota and Salah.
They are the three I do not want to see, because they're the three I think that I would be nervous to see. I like Mane, I like Bobby Firmino. But for me, the other three are just that little bit. At the moment, scarier. I think this Diaz kid is ridiculously
Mustard.
good, mate.
He's mustard.
Like,
He's mustard.
I mean, I've seen some talent, but when someone comes into the league and just that quickly, Kev, I mean, he looks. I'm so glad that. I mean, he was never going to Tottenham. Just put it that way.
No,
That was never going to happen. No
listen,
chance. I mean,
Tottenham. He doesn't show that. That's for sure. If he went there, he doesn't show that. He's at a club. He's at a know how to recruit. They know how to develop. They know how to help enhance your game. And he's come in. He's hit the ground running. They dominate the ball. They play a certain way that suits him. It's fantastic. That's what it is. It's fantastic. You've got to give Liverpool massive credit, Jurgen Klopp and his backroom staff, for the way they recruit. And, you know, you always say to yourself, what are they going to do when Mane and Salah leave? Well, you're starting to see it now, aren't you? Diaz is coming in. You know, you've got Jota there. You've got some wonderful young players as well, you know, coming through. Listen, Liverpool are going to be dangerous for years to come, man.
I agree with you. I do. And I've said they've got strength and depth. The one lad we haven't mentioned, one lad we haven't even mentioned who I think is very, very good and is going to be great is Harvey Elliott. I think the kid looks exceptional and I think the talent is there to see, is clear to see. So Liverpool have strength in depth. There's no doubt about it. Before we start to come to predictions, I'm going to ask Grizz a question. I'm going to ask Casey a question. Grizz, I'll start with you. If you could pick one Arsenal player to put into this Liverpool setup, who would you go for?
That's a tough question because I got. So are we saying goes into our 11 or will be a valuable member of squad?
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's many Arsenal players that would walk straight into the Liverpool 11. Might be wrong. People could debate that, but if you could pick one player that you think I will have that player right now from Arsenal, who are you going to go with?
It's a straight toss-up between Saka or Martinelli. Now, looking at our left side, we got Jota, Mane, Diaz, who can all play there. But looking on our right side, only Salah realistically plays it like he plays it. So therefore, I would take Saka. Just for the fact that when Salah needs a rest now and again, yeah, your boy Saka is there.
Look at this. Listen to this.
I don't even like to hear it.
But also, you got to remember, Saka is young. So Mohamed Salah, 3 years at that level, prime Saka to step in his place. That'd be nice. We're cooking nice, man. We're cooking nice.
I regret asking this question already. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But there we go. Do you know an interesting player though that I think might have even and he might even get a say at the moment the way he's playing? I don't know if you agree with this, Chris. Before I come to KC, would Martin Ødegaard walk into your first 11? Would he get ahead of Henderson? Would he get ahead of Thiago or Naby?
Great question. We discussed this last night on the Big Six as well. Great question, and it got me thinking. Ødegaard's playing some amazing football in that position where we do like Elliott, or we hope to see Elliott come through. And obviously, Ødegaard is more advanced than Elliott. So from that aspect, I see where the debate is. But Henderson, England captain, Liverpool captain, Champions League winner, Premier League winner, he's not washed. He's not done. He plays that role how we want him to play. It might not be the most glamorous. He's not as technically gifted as Ødegaard. But for us to play in that 8 on the right side, Henderson's what we need for now. I see us developing. And if you ask me this question, maybe another season where Ødegaard shows me another season of this performance, then I would say yes. But right now, I'm okay with Henderson.
Fair play. Kev, same question before we go to predictions and close. If you can nick one Liverpool player, who are you taking?
Listen, I'm going to have to say Salah solely because of the goals. You stick half of Salah's goals in our team.
Yeah.
Look where we are. Do you know what I mean? It's that simple. we have really suffered, Dan. We've suffered because we haven't had that striker or person who could really hit the heights in goals. And Salah's been phenomenal. I mean, some of the goals he scored this season has been nothing short of remarkable. The way he's danced in between players and dribbled past players, and he gets all sorts of goals. So it has to be Salah. You know, I feel crazy because Van Dijk's there. You know, Van Dijk's the wall at the back. But, you know, we're building our own wall. Gabriel, we're building our own wall, and we know we got
for what we need. You're right. For what we need
back as well. You know, you're thinking of that. We've got Ben White, but what this team really need is somebody who can make the difference, and that's what Salah's done for Liverpool. He's made the difference all season. He's been one of the best, if not the best player in the world for most of the season, and you know, him being a little bit nicked up from Saturday, they took him off. You know, put him in cotton wool, and look, he don't even want to sit. He don't even want to sit down. He didn't train one day, and he's back out training today. So he's going to play, and rightly so, because he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's world class. I think he's the best player in the world right now, in my opinion, by quite some way. And it's the one that comes to mind straight away. And look, Trent Alexander-Arnold's fantastic. I think it's criminal that he doesn't play for England. I think it's ridiculous. I absolutely love what I see from Van Dijk. I think Fabinho is probably one of the best in the world in that position. I'm not even joking. I think he's ridiculously good, Fabinho. So they've got so many, haven't they? Really have. But Salah for me is the one that stands out. So, and I think that's the biggest compliment you can give to one of the best sides in the world. He stands out. It's like, wow, how can you stand out that much? It's crazy. Let's stick with you, KC. Let's go for predictions. What are you going for tomorrow? And I love coming to KC. So optimistic. Come on, yeah, KC. What are you going for?
I've been optimistic. I got 5 out of 5 in the last 5. And I predicted, got 5 out of 5 in the last 5. And I predicted this one to be a draw, Dan. I did.
Okay.
I predicted this one a while ago to be a draw. And I'm sticking with it. Look, can we get rinsed by Liverpool? Of course we can. Liverpool could do that to anybody. We've seen them do it. But I just think this is a real good gauge for Arsenal right now. And we're playing with confidence. We might, the only thing I worry about is we might struggle because we don't have that killer. We don't have that person who we could rely on to stick the ball away. And Liverpool have multiple players. So I thought it was going to be a draw. I'm going for 1-1, Dan.
1-1. Grizz.
Yeah, man. I don't think it's going to be a stroll in the park at all. I think it's going to be a game of end-to-end action, pure high intensity. Both teams love pressing, especially in that midfield area, man. But we got to win tomorrow. There's no option. I'm not about predictions, man. I can't give a shit if we win 1-0, man. A scrappy goal off Matip's 50p head shape. You know what I mean? I don't care. I just want 3 points tomorrow. That's all that counts. But saying all that, I'm going 3-1 down. I'm going to stick with my 3-1 prediction.
Going optimistic, Grizz, you've got to, man. You've got to. I'm with KC. I said earlier with you, Grizz, 1-1. I do think that we're going to do something tomorrow night, and I'll be more than happy with that. You know, I really would. Against one of the best teams in the world at the moment, a 1-1 draw is a fantastic result. We always seem to do something a little bit differently at the Emirates. Whenever we go to Anfield, I write it off. It's going to be at least 3, maybe 4 or 5. But when we go at the Emirates, I always think that the home crowd, I think we're going to be well up for it. The atmosphere has been fantastic. Although I think Liverpool are going to be bang up for it because of what's happened on Monday night, I do feel that the crowd will turn up in terms of Arsenal fans, and I think that we will nick a point. And I would be over the moon with that because it keeps that run going, gives us that confidence going into, let's be honest, 2 very difficult away games at Aston Villa and Crystal Palace, which is not going to be an easy ride for Arsenal Football Club. We've already seen what Manchester City couldn't do on Monday against Crystal Palace. And of course, Villa with Coutinho and with Gerrard, they're absolutely flying at the moment with how they've turned their season around. So it's going to be very difficult for the Arsenal coming up. Guys, I want to say a huge thank you. This has been great. Thank you to everybody in the chat. There's been near on 800 of you watching live. Fantastic. If you could smash a like on this, it would be fantastic. And subscribe to the channel. And of course, all you Liverpool fans in the chat, get yourself over to Grizz Khan TV. Hit a like and subscribe on the video and watch the preview show. Also, Grizz, thank you so much for coming on, my bro.
Humbled, mate. Absolute pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure chatting to you both.
Nice one, Grizz. Lovely.
No, man.
KC, top man as ever.
Nice one, Dan. Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. Lovely to be on here. And well, I'm not sure where Lee Judges is right now, but I hope he's right.
Oh dear, don't. Lee Judges. I tell you what, that guy will be late for his own funeral. I tell you this now, mate. This guy is honestly, this guy is late always. Now he's out enjoying Cheltenham, and good luck to him. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please keep coming back into the interactive chat. We absolutely love seeing your comments. Love seeing you all coming back to the show. Thank you all so much for listening. Also on the audio. Please like and subscribe this video. This has been Lee Judges TV, and we will see you next time, guys. Come on, the Arsenal.
Support for this video is brought to you by Manscaped. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code